Be a part of his association, one has to be fortunate. Hare Krishna, Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji. So nice to see you. Long time. All wonderful devotees, old times. When I see Sudhir Gopal, I remember Jagannath Puri. Very nice. All right. So today I have been given a opportunity to share some thoughts. So I was looking at the point what I've been discussing about kingdom of God, and the next is how to achieve it. Just a minute, somebody. Extremely sorry, some disturbance. So, how to achieve it? So, if you are looking at yourself, for time being, let's forget everything in the world as of now, and let's concentrate on yourself and what we are going to discuss. So, Bhagavatam study is a serious subject matter. If by chance, if you miss out something, certainly it will be a great loss. So an investment in the Bhagavatam, especially time, should be complete by itself. So any investment done here will produce wonderful results. So Srila Prabhupada's mission is about understanding Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how he wanted us to understand. That is very important. And Acharya set standards. Many people have commented on the Bhagavatam, different Acharyas, they're all bona fide. But for us, it is very important. Our Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. So unless we fix the devotional service or any service what we do with respect to what Prabhupada taught us, otherwise we'll get lost. So many people talk about Bhagavatam esoteric topics, what relationship, they almost take us to Vaikuntha, tears will come in the eyes. But the moment the class is over, we have lost. Prabhupada's mission is not like that. Prabhupada's mission doesn't allow tears to come, but it makes your heart clean, and so that Krishna can come and sit there. So when we come to the Bhagavatam class, first thing is we have to keep our heart as much as possible empty, so that any talk about Krishna can register in the heart. Hridaya Adhikavaye, the first lesson learned by Brahma is through the ears and to the heart. So Krishna spoke, it went to the heart. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada taught us how to hear. He gave us the real purpose of the ear is to hear this nectar. Now, trying to understand what exactly is this journey. If you analyze our journey, that we have been traveling, but it started somewhere which we didn't know, but we know where it can end. So we came out of the mother's womb, so we didn't know that. But certainly we can determine our destination, where it can go. So from unknown journey start off can go to be a known journey. A known journey is this Bhagavatam. If we take the shelter of Bhagavatam, then certainly our destination is fixed. That's why when Prabhupada defines in the Bhagavatam, this particular chapter, the 3rd canto, 15th chapter, it talks about the kingdom of God. He defines kingdom of God. So what exactly is kingdom of God? He is nothing but perceiving the right relationship, right? Sambandha Gnan. So a transition will take place from self-centered to Krishna-centered. So we are going in this direction, Krishna centered. How can this happen? Just imagine a traveler. He is going from one place to another. At that time, there was only walking time. So he would carry certain food stuff along with him. And wherever water or shelter would be there, he would stop and he would consume that. And by the time he reaches his destination, he is free, light. So in the same way, this Krishna conscious movement, if we follow properly, from samsara bandhanat to samsara liberation. So the karma bandhanat, the bandhana, it is coming from millions of life, it's bound us. And this very life can unwind us to go back. So you should know what to check in baggage and what to put it in a cabin baggage. I'm trying to put it in a lighter way. So when you're traveling, the lighter you are, it is better. So if you're transiting in this spiritual life, as long as gradually, if you do not reduce our material responsibilities, then you cannot make progress in spiritual life, because that will always block us, shunt us, our growth. So how is that? How do we understand this? That means, especially when we go into Grihastha ashram, then certainly we are taking responsibilities which are going to be very of serious nature. But that doesn't mean we should not take it up. So a Grihastha ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, and Vanaprastha ashram, and Sannyas ashram is there. So especially when we come to the Grihastha ashram, our responsibility is threefold. That means we have to take care of the Brahmacharya ashram, as well as Vanaprastha ashram, as well as Sannyas ashram. Whereas a Brahmachari, he will just preach. He can go on, take some beg, and he lives on. Same thing with sannyasis and Vanaprastha, somebody will take care. But when it comes to the responsibility of a Grihastha ashram, so this is where Prabhupada is talking about how to overcome this Grihastha ashram. And the process is very well defined. So when we are going through the process, the first sloka is Janma Dasya Ataha. You have to understand that we have got a human body. We are sitting in a gold mine. So human body is very rare. So that's why it's compared to gold. But it's mixed with gold ore. It's like iron ore, gold ore. So now you have to extract gold from that. So there is a purification process of gold. You have to boil it. So in the same way, if you call the boiling as tapasya, so that when you start your Grihastha ashrama, which is also bona fide, so there are austerities, there are tapasya which you have to undergo voluntarily, or nature will make you do it. So Krishna conscious movement, till when I came to Srila Prabhupada's movement, till I did not understand anything about spiritual life. Only when we started reading Prabhupada's book, so gradually, especially the science of self-realization, we could understand, oh my God, life, there is beyond life also. So this is where Srila Prabhupada, right from his beginning, he is not talking about esoteric topics. He is just talking, you are not the body, you are a spirit soul, you are part and parcel of Krishna, and your destination is there, not here. So these are the things Prabhupada was emphasizing time and again. Sometimes we get carried away by hearing esoteric topics and we get lost. No, our primary subject matter is how to relieve ourselves from the material entanglement, but how to do it voluntarily. It cannot be rejected like a Markata Vairagi. So it is very, very important that when we have come up to Krishna consciousness, Many of us, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. An assessment has to be done. How assessment has to be done? Where am I progressing? Where are the materially or spiritually? But if you just think of material, let me complete these responsibilities and we may come there, but life can be short-circuited. We may not know, we may not finish. So that's why I said human life, it's a gold mine. So simultaneously, we have to purify the place around us, the people who are with us, and also we have to make sure that we are also progressing. So it could be 35 years, 40 years, but why is that we are not progressing? Because, or we may think like that. So unless you reassess yourself, it is not possible. Now, if you take, there is a relationship is based on Deha. And there is a relationship based on Atma. What is that relationship based on Deha? Is, if you analyze that, it is not parents, wife, children, teachers, friends, and society by and large. So this is a common factor for everybody. But what happens to this kind of relationship is, matter of time, slowly everything is temporary. So material relationship can go on for some time, but gradually it vanishes. So you can analyze that by your own birth. When you're with your family, your parents, then gradually you started growing, then you had your own family, and in the process it's all lost. So that is why human birth is not only based on Dehatma Buddhi, it is also to do with Atma Shuddhi. So what is that Atma Shuddhi? Is Krishna is speaking about is relationship with based on scriptures. Atma Bandhu. Who are these actually Atma Bandhu? He is gurus, sadhus, and Vaishnava. We directly relate with the heart, and plus another one is the Paramatma's feature. So Prabhupada explains that in one, you can find it in Veda base, he says that when a Brahmana asked the woman who was lying down on the floor, and she answered that when he asked what has happened, that she says that my spiritual master is dead. And she was perplexed about what to do in his absence. So at that such time, super soul immediately appears. Prabhupada speaking, provided the devotee is purified in the heart by following the direction of the spiritual master. So this is very important for us when we are undergoing this sadhana bhakti and studying the Bhagavatam matter. What matters is you, not the body. That is very, very important because directly it relates. When something happens to us, we have to protect ourselves. So protecting first oneself is very, very important for us in spiritual life. Because if you are not realized, how will you make other people realize? So a sincere devotee, he starts following the instructions of the spiritual master. So when he starts analyzing what exactly the spiritual master is directing us, he says directly he is relating with the super soul. This is confirmed by Caitanya Charitamrita. Guru Krishna Paye Bhaktilata Bija. If today we are all in this society of ISKCON, because Prabhupada's mercy that we are able to stay in this moment. But there is a catch which you have to seriously think. You can always remain in Krishna consciousness, or you can pass your time in Krishna consciousness, or you can be part of Krishna consciousness. Now you have to decide this. Shall I just pass my time in Krishna consciousness? Or shall I be a very active member? So taking part in Krishna's consciousness means taking, understanding the tattva behind that. Otherwise, it could be 20 years, 30 years, you're chanting Hare Krishna, reading and all, but there is no assessment. So you can just go to the next life. It could be like an animal life. A bird can be taught Hare Krishna mantra. It will go on, but at the time of death, it will just go off. So in the same way, Krishna conscious movement, what Prabhupada taught us, time and again, it reminds us, Baba, you also have to do. If you do not reach out to yourself, it is not possible. So time and again, sadhana bhakti is introduced. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is telling that if the devotee serves his spiritual sincerely, Krishna becomes automatically pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. By satisfying the spiritual master. Thus, a devotee becomes enriched both by spiritual master as well as Krishna. No, this is very important point which he's making. Huh? Enrich, he says. So now we are sitting at home. So let's say two of us come and meet. A talk between us may not be Krishna at all, but it can be Krishna also. Okay, we'll analyze. Maitreya and Uddhava meet. Sorry, Vidura and Uddhava meet. When Uddhava and Vidura meet, what happens? The moment both they meet, they don't talk about each other. They talk about what did Krishna and Balarama are doing. So this is clear understanding between Uddhava and Vidura. They are Krishna-centered. So it is very important for us when we see that this kind of relationship and their talks, it has to register us. Now I'll give another relationship. The same Vidura was there with Dhritarashtra. So now what is happening? Time and again, Vidura is counseling Dhritarashtra. At the same time, Dhritarashtra, even though he is hearing, but there is no effect. So this can happen in our life, that we may be in Krishna consciousness, but it may not have a definite impact on us because our samsara bandhanat, our material relationship has still taken a priority. When as Krishna comes in, the material priorities can be there, but when Krishna becomes priority, the material priority becomes the responsibility of Krishna because you are depending on Krishna's mercy. So you could see in Prabhupada's life, then when he depended on Krishna, everything went, but still everything Krishna was taking care day to day. So the more we try to infuse Krishna consciousness through our heart, we will also be doing the activities in the same way, but the result will be something else. Here Prabhupada is giving the example of a husband and a wife having a relation which is not authorized. But if you see her work, she does very nicely to please the husband and children, but at the same time, she's always thinking of Krishna. So just by taking Krishna consciousness, we are not shunning the responsibility of our life. No, we are doing much better, but that's not ultimate. You are doing something better. So when Shastra says you should not become a father, you should not become a mother, you should not become a guru, na guru syat, na matru syat, pitru, why is this telling? That means if you don't deliver them, then your life is a waste. So when I'm incapable, so better to go to a capable person. That's why spiritual master is there. So when we plead to spiritual master that I'm in difficulty, I want to serve Krishna and you. So gradually, spiritual master has his own way of impressing Krishna, and slowly our material aspects reduces and you will get strength to overcome that. So in the present situation that we are all facing, it's very clear that nobody knows what's happening around. Day after tomorrow, they are going to close down. But a Krishna conscious person, he is not bewildered. He knows its part. But that doesn't mean he will not suffer. He will also suffer. But his suffering is, it doesn't affect him. He will accept it with, as a Krishna's gift. So he will go through that. He will not be perturbed. So, but that doesn't mean he will not protect himself. He has to protect himself. So it is necessary for us to, in this travel, that right from the Devatas up to Brahma, down the Patal Loka, everybody is under the illusion effect. Now coming to the point of that, why we have to go back to the spiritual world, Because time and again, Srila Prabhupada is talking about that back to Godhead, back to Godhead. And he started a Back to Godhead magazine. Is it just a word? Is it just a kind of a slogan? Please meditate on that, back to Godhead. That means we were there and we are going back. So this is to be meditated upon, each one of us. When we sit for a Bhagavatam, when we are studying, make sure nothing is disturbing us. So that time where we are spending time with Krishna, maybe 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours, let it be, no compromise there. But unless there is some difficulty, that's fine. But otherwise, it has to be that no compromise. When there is a serious discussion is happening of business or something very important, you don't want it to be disturbed. In the same way, when we are progressing Krishna consciousness and when we are dealing with the subject matter of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, when that discussion is going, you should tell all the other aspects should be kept aside. Okay, I'll get back to you, don't worry. Now is the time for this. So there's always a play while you play, study while you study. So that's the way happening. So in the same way, when we are now doing the Bhagavatam study, when we are learning, we are hearing, when we are speaking, but there should be no compromise. That's ekena manasa. I mean, direct. That's how Parikshit Maharaj was doing it. So now coming to the point of what is this back or kingdom of God? So the kingdom of God, you could see that the earlier past time, where especially where Diti was, carrying 2 child in her embryo, and by mistake she had prayed for to have a progeny at a wrong time, and Kashyapa Muni had to, fulfill her desire. But he warned her that this is, my dear, this is not a good time. You may get into problem, but nevertheless, so this is what is illusion. It catches up. The desires, unregulated, uncontrolled desires can doom us. So the moment she desired and that happened, and the embryos, she gave shelter to 2 Atmas. Now these 2 Atmas, when they came there, they were Daityas. Now she knew very well that these 2, when they come out, they're going to disturb the whole society. So what she did, she hid it and she never allowed the embryo to rupture. So almost 100 years she kept it in her stomach. So what happened? When that happened, suddenly there was a darkness which came out, kind of a fumes came out around. And that watch was like this, you can say this corona virus, it spread all over the world. Same thing has happened now. No, we don't know what is the background of all this. At the same time, this slowly went to Devaloka also. So all the devatas who were sitting there, they also could not find where is this coming. You could see that it's totally related with the present situation. We don't know where this is spreading, how it is coming up. So now, looking at that devatas, they said, oh, it's not tolerable. So they came to Brahma. They said, Brahmaji, what is happening? We don't know. We are not able to breathe properly. There's so much of darkness. We can't see anything. So helplessness is very important for us to voluntarily accept in front of Guru and Krishna. In the same way, when we go in front of the deities, when we go to the temple, when we become a bhikkhari and start asking Krishna, I don't have anything. Please give me. Give me Krishna Bhakti. Give me association of devotees. All this when you start, when you show your bankruptcy in front of the deities, that is where you're making progress. So that is what we have to become absolutely foolish. So when you go to the temple, the deities are there. It says, my dear Krishna, I have nothing. I have nothing other than your mercy and Krishna's mercy. You please give it to me. So ISKCON is a mercy flow of what Krishna has given. And Prabhupada brought it from the world. Many times Prabhupada said that, ISKCON, I have brought it for you from the spiritual world. So we are all part and parcel of ISKCON. So if you don't encash, then we become like Dhritarashtra. Huh? What happened to Dhritarashtra? Every time Vidura was speaking, he was trying to counsel him, but the moment he saw his kids and his wife and children, these things would not go. He would hear very nicely, yes, yes, what you say is correct. But when he goes back to his palace, he sees his son, especially Duryodhana. So even extraordinary people can be bewildered by attachments. So what does Brahma will now hear? He says the demigods prayed to Brahma. Then Brahma woke up and he said, what did he say? That Lord Brahma, who is understood to be transcendent. So now you can go through the text from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You can go on. It's very nicely explains when you are doing. After this, you can go on. You can make it. You will see how the Vaikuntha planet has described. I'll just summarize that. So now Lord Brahma is talking about the 4 Kumaras. The 4 Kumaras also disobeyed their own father. And they said, no, we are not going to be grastas. We are going to go. So they were realized and they came, but they did not know about the Supreme Lord. So they traveled and somehow they came at finding out the absolute truth. So now Brahma himself is explaining about the travel of his children. So after traveling all over the universe, they entered into the spiritual sky. From there, they could see it was completely freed from material contamination. Text 13. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are residents of Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, and worshipped by the residents of all material planets. Text 14 says, in the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar to the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are all engaged in devotional service to the Lord without desire for sense gratification. Now, there is a desire for sense gratification. You could see in the life of Dhritarashtra, the moment you see, our perception changes. Relationship comes in our front, we gradually forget other things. Because that is our identification. Dehatma buddhi, whenever we see our children, whenever we see our country, whenever we see somebody we've known, we relate with our body. So that transition, unless that starts taking place as we grow, it becomes very, very difficult. Let us take for our own example today, in our own senior devotees, all GBCs, all sannyasis, when they too meet, what do they talk about? So it is their pratyaksha praman. When they interact, it is the same as Vidura and Maitreya, Vidura and Uddhava. So they talk about that. When Jayapatak Maharaj or Radhanath Maharaj or Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, or when they all meet, what do they talk about? So that means there are souls in front of us who are extraordinary. And how did they get? They just got it because sincere, they followed what Prabhupada said. It's very simple. So as long as we try to go in that direction, then our life also becomes easier. It's not a complicated. Prabhupada was a simple person. The way he preached was simple, sweet, very communicative, and doable. That is most important. And they're doable in any ashram. And also, he gave this Vaikuntha, which he brought from spiritual world. So when you come to the our ISKCON temples, you can find all the activities which is happening in the spiritual world in the same way. But the difference between there and here, we are still in the conditioned state that we may not be fully, immersed in Krishna Rasamrita. So maybe what is Krishna Rasamrita, what is happening only at the time of the Bhagavatam. But the Bhagavatam moment we come out, then we are in the different way. So how the consistency can happen? Only by practice. Now you can see here what is especially the text 15. Let us analyze this. We will chant this 15th sloka. Yatra chadya pumsham aste Bhagavan shabda gocharaha sattvam vistabhya virajam swanam na mrindati vashaha. So what is happening? The text 15 explaining in Vaikuntha planet, He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person, who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion and ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. Now, what Prabhupada explains in the purport, he says, kingdom of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than by hearing the description from the Veda, Kirtitavya, Smartavya. So now one can see it. In the material world also, one who is unable to pay to go for a far distance by material convenience cannot understand about that place. Similarly, the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky are beyond this material sky. The modern scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet. So there is no possibility that they can go beyond the material sky, enter the spiritual sky, and see themselves of spiritual planets. So Vaikuntha, therefore, the kingdom of God is the spiritual sky, can be understood only through authentic description of the Vedas and the Puranas. So the Bhagavatam clearly explains all this. So it's very evident among everything Prabhupada chose Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. So that is the summum bonum of all the Vedic literature. And he established, every act of Prabhupada was very clearly trying to induce our Bhagavatam into the Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, every day getting up, DD services, chanting the holy name, then doing DD, after DD services, then we are studying the Bhagavatam, then we are earning prasadam, then we go our services. So the very moment Prabhupada started, so everything is so cumulative and added for our growth in spiritual life. So that's why I was telling it has come from there. But in the Vaikuntha, only the mode of goodness in its pure form exists. Now, what is the difficulty? Here is from ISKCON, after we come to the temple, then there's a tendency, then we have to go back. The moment we go out of the temple, there is mode of passion, then there is mode of ignorance. This is the only difference. So, to sustain ourselves among the Krishna consciousness, we have to carry that 4 hours of our sadhana to our houses. Now, coming to our house, if we also make the same arrangement, yes, sustenance is possible. So, the more we make our atmosphere around us to be apt for our progress, including our family, you have nothing to fear. But fear factor of living Krishna consciousness should always be going together. So, but in the Lord and his devotees reside in Vaikuntha planet, and they are on the same transcendental quality, namely Shuddha Sattva and the mode of pure goodness. So the Vaikuntha planets are very dear to the Vaishnavas, and for the progress of Vaishnava towards the kingdom of God, the Lord himself allows this. So from this you can clearly know that our travel, if it has to go from material, our center to Krishna center, is a critical analysis and a very sensitive journey. So you should know what to pick up and what not to pick up in this progress. So these desires which are there for us, which are very detrimental towards our progress. So understanding from the Diti's character, just a small fraction of a second she desired something, it was fulfilled, and she got into a big problem. So therefore, Lord Brahma in the text 24, he says that, my dear demigods, the human form of life is such importance that we also desire to have such life. For in the human form of one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. What is telling? My dear demigod, the human form of life is telling. He didn't say demigods. He says human form of life is such importance that we also desire. That means he himself is desiring. If one in the human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is aboard, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external future. That is why I said that earlier, that we are sitting in a gold mine. So why is Brahma, who is the head of the entire Brahmanda, he is desired to become a human being and he wants to go back to Godhead. So what not he has, but why is he desiring like this? So the desires, a quantum of desires could be different from what he has, what we have, the opulence. But nevertheless, desire to go back to Krishna is also with Krishna, with Brahma, and our spiritual master is also telling that. And our own experience over period of life, in especially transit in Krishna consciousness, we have come across a great deal of endeavor, and we have so much of difficulties we have gone through. Every time we meet, oh, go this problem, that problem, something or the other is there. But nevertheless, we are still practicing Krishna consciousness. But if you do not make this a sincere effort, then it will be, slogging is not good. So what is Prabhupada is talking about is, ours is a pushing process. He says, we have to push. So he gives the example of a car pushing. He says sometimes the car gets stopped for some reason, so driver gets down and he comes and he takes the help of others and tries to push the car, and the car starts moving. So in the same way, we, every time we are in the association of devotees, we are in the association of the temple, when we are, so we get pushed there. So that battery charges and it allows us for next 6 days to move on. So the process of pushing, what Prabhupada said, I am going to push, you also push. But it's not an eternal stuff. You can't all the time go on getting pushed. No, you have to start walking too. So this is what is our endeavor. So Damodara Leela explains that your endeavor and Krishna's mercy starts there. So this is the reason that every time when we get up in the morning or when we are going to sleep in the night, we have to acknowledge, thank God, Krishna, I am still remaining in Krishna consciousness. When we express this gratitude towards Guru and Krishna, you make a tremendous impact. So what does Lord Caitanya say about this? How can we make this more stronger and stronger? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, it's only by service to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya explained to Sanatana Goswami, but how one can approach Krishna. He says the only process is devotional service to Krishna. So now what is the difference between ISKCON and all other sampradayas? You can see, we are more and more trying to make devotion as a service. Suppose I come to the temple president will say, can you do this service? Can you do that service? So that's how it is. By serving and serving and serving, gradually our mind gets out of that ego platform. So same thing you may not do in your house, but when you come to the temple, you will broom, you will do everything. But when you go back, we don't do, because we think we are the master there. So the master is also there. The same master in our house as well as in the temple is also same. But the consciousness what we carry, because we relatively, when we see through our eyes, we relate with the body, so then we identify ourselves, then the whole thing is changed. So Dhritarashtra was externally blind and he was internally blind too. But in our case, we are externally, we are able to see, but internally we are blind, and slowly it's going to go. So what is he talking about? If someone inquires into Vedas to determine the process of transcendental realization, if someone consult the Puranas, which is considered to be the important aspect, one will find that in all the conclusion is how to serve the Supreme Lord. That's all. So how you can free that? So Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter 51 word says, what does he says? Karmajam buddhi yuktihi palaham tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinurmukta padam gachanti anamai. So what does he say? He says, by thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages of devotees free themselves. He's talking up great sages from the result of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from cycle of birth and death and attain the state of beyond miseries by going back to Godhead. So he's not talking about ordinary people. He's even talking about the exalted people who are, especially the Kumaras. They were very realized, but still they were not Bhagavan realized. So they were looking and going and further. So even for them, it is devotional service. So serving is the common factor. How this three process it is done, there are three factors which depend on these things. What are the three factors? That's also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. He says pranipata. That means complete surrender to Guru and Krishna. Nothing is mine. Everything belongs to Krishna. I am a custodian. So we have to move in that direction. And the next aspect word is a pariprashna. Questions which are responsible to our spiritual growth. That is important. You can ask any questions. But how can we go on? Pariprashrena sevaya. Then third factor is seva. When you start doing seva, that is unilateral seva, not just anything what you want to do. Unilateral seva to Guru and Krishna, and return, you do not ask for anything else. So here is the formula. Here is the medicine of understanding. When you come and serve Krishna with voluntary, and whatever he asks, you are doing it. And in return, you're not asking for anything. So that is actually a devotional service. Devotion to Krishna and service to Krishna, when you club both, then that becomes the service which is you don't expect. It's whatever they say. So it is called as bonded labor. When we are bound by Guru's mercy and Krishna's mercy, what is a bonded labor? You can see in America, you can see in Africa, even in earlier time of India, they were all a lot of bonded laborers were there. They were not doing anything. They were just given food and some clothing, and they would just serve their master. It was there. So in the same way, when we, Purandara Das also sings the song, he says, Guruvina Gulama Nagavatanaka Doraya Danda Mukuti Paripari Shastra Vavodir Dereno. That means he's telling that unless you become a bonded labor of your Guru, you will not get mukti. At the same time, whatever you study, whatever you do is of waste. Paripari Shastra Vavodi Dereno Doraya Dandam. It's a waste. So in the same way, what is Prabhupada is talking about is the same thing. So it is very important for us to do selfless seva, niswartha. So if you see all our parampara, they had no swartha other than serving their Guru. Right from spiritual master, our Goswamis, our present acharyas, they left everything for Krishna. In fact, I just came to know when Bhakti Charu Maharaj was diagnosed with this. So, and they were supposed to take decisions about what they're going to do. At that time, he told, whatever the decision taken by GBC, I will follow. Look at that. So he never left even in the last, depending on the mercy and what Prabhupada demonstrated, GBC. So GBC was there in his mind. Institution was there. So I am a part of the institution. Whatever the institution say, yeah. But Prabhupada, when he left, he made the institution. He brought a group of people. So that's the guiding factor. So he established this fact that the devotee was giving yesterday her realization. It really touched our heart. He says, I'm just dependent on what the GBC wants. I will do like that. But ultimately, Krishna had his plans. So this is very, very important for us for inner awakening is niswartha. Slowly we should develop. That is from traversing from our center, self-centered to Krishna center. Though it is it's a long journey, but nevertheless, this journey is full of sweet. Nigama kalpaturur galitam. The moment our taste buds, slowly overcomes materialism, spiritualism, even though it may appear we are doing the same work, but still the taste is different. So it's a great opportunity for all of us, for we are as a team, we are sitting, we are all part of this ISKCON society. Each one have to contribute towards other progress. Each one has to exchange. This is very important. We can't alone go. So if I have some weakness, that can be brought from your strength. And if your weakness is my strength, one allegorical story which will emphasize this fact that we have to travel together. There were two kings, they were close friends, and they used to go all the time, hunting and things like that. One day, what happened was they went as usual, and while going, each of them had an accident. One lost all the horses, one lost the chariot, and both were thinking what to do. So by Paramatma's intelligence, things like that, what happened? He says, why can't we come together? You give me your horse, I'll give you my chariot. So in the same way, our Krishna conscious movement is all of us have something to give, something to take. So it's a great opportunity. Let's stay together. So that togetherness it's a family which matters, a family which lives together, a family, a spiritual family where everyone is looking at others' benefit, not our benefit, in our benefit. So a family like that becomes a providence, and mercy of the Lord is there. So I will conclude by in the present scenario, what is our prayer? 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th verse. What does he say? That you all know this sloka, which is Tatte anukampam sumikshamano bunjanaiva evatma kritam vipakam hridvig vipabu vidhana namaste jivete yo mukti sadadhavak. So translation, Prabhupada says, very touching this sloka is, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for your bestow your causeless mercy upon him, always patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering your respectful obeisances with his heart, words and body, you are surely eligible for liberation, for it has become the rightful claim. So Sridhar Swami explains in the commentary that just as a legitimate son has simply to remain alive to get the inheritance of his father, one who simply remains alive in Krishna consciousness, following the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga, automatically becomes eligible for receiving mercy of Krishna. So if our father is very rich, at the same time, when he leaves, what has happened? It comes to us only. In the same way, our father is a spiritual master. I said Atma Bandhanat. So Bhagavatam describes very clearly who are our real relatives, who are our real friends. So in present moment, our legacy, we have some causeless mercy we have done. We have embraced the society of Krishna consciousness. Each one is rich. Nobody can say is less or more. Each one can grab as much mercy as possible. The more we live with devotees, the more we live with the consciousness of serving mood, the more we think of humility and simple living, we are a great, we will grab the greatest mercy. So it's a great opportunity for all of us to be under the shelter of Guru and Krishna. The Maharaj passing away is a great, education for all of us, that death can come anytime, in any way. But at the same time, why do we have to die before we die? So Krishna consciousness will help you to die when you have to die, not before you die. So great opportunity for us to, embrace the Bhagavatam and understand inside the heart, and also possible to preach to others as much as possible. And always remember this word: what you give, what you get, what you hold, what you lose. I conclude by this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I am open to reflections. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Like devotees can, as Prabhuji was mentioning, like reflections. So whatever you found very nice in Prabhuji's session, like you can put it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. I can unmute. No, only you. So by the time you respond, so I have one request for Prabhuji. So one thing which we get inspired a lot by seeing South Bangalore Temple is that there is nice community of devotees, and almost every day they gather together, and all of them hear Bhagavatam. And also, like Prabhuji also is staying like quite far away from the temple, like 20 kilometers. Prabhu, it's
11
or more.
kilometers. 11.
Um, but then, like 11
Yeah.
kilometers. Sorry,
Yeah.
11. So like, but then Prabhuji goes there for Mangalarti and then sits with devotees to chant and things like that. So it's really very inspiring, Prabhu, to see that nice community spirit in your place. So you can share a few words like how we can also imbibe that kind of a spirit.
You want to build a community around your temple. Just open your heart. What I see is, I always say that temple, especially administrators, they have to always keep their heart open. They can never close it. It's an open heart surgery. So, so sometimes people of different kind of nature do come in. So how you tolerate? My Guru Maharaj told me once when I took up the presidentship of Jagannath Mandir in Sheshadripuram, I asked Guru Maharaj, what is your instruction as an administrator? He said, good or bad, you please carry everybody together. He told me that. It was very difficult. But I realized that, yes, so we have to tolerate that because anarthas are there in each one of us. How to overcome that? So you always have to take one step back. When something bad happens, you have to take 2 steps back and see why is this happening? See, nobody is bad or good by birth. So, circumstances makes us. So we took a policy decision that my experience of over so many years that many devotees living ISKCON, for me, keeping devotees together, that was my top priority, to fulfill their needs. Today, I have 35 devotees staying in temple. 35 devotees are there. You can come and have a look. There are 20 devotees who are working from that place. And you can experience, you can ask them, why you're staying here? So we make sure that they are very comfortable and our best, because we see ourselves as servants that Krishna sent them, we have to take care of them. So by Guru Krishna's mercy, now the mood is slowly, others are also getting, and we make sure as much as possible, we try to, give less trouble to others. So we make sure, that happens, some management, some difficulties do come, but we take it as a top priority. So we have simplified many things, and our purpose time and again in our managerial meetings, I make this, see, we are servants here. A congregation is they are our bosses. They are running our temple. So whenever they come, we should be their subservient and help them out. So we are trying our keeping this mood as much as possible. So I don't know. I also seek your prayers to be like that as much as possible. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, like I remember during 2008 or so, when you used to be the first sector servant of this area, like you used to visit our bhakti rickshaws, and now it's been like we have been seeing you for last like 12 or more than 12 years now. Like your enthusiasm to preach and serve the devotees has been increasing more and more. But you correctly assessed us that for us, like yes, we need to do the assessment. We need to move from the Atma Buddhi to like Atma Suddhi. Like, but still, like our focus is that okay, like as long as I'm in the center, as long as I'm in this an assessment of the devotees, yes, we are in the mode of goodness, or and our enthusiasm, is correct. But then after it, like we get entangled with so many things, and it's how to really build up that enthusiasm, how to follow your footsteps.
Ask Harikshetra. That's what I said. This is a little endeavor that when we give quality time to our studies, especially when we study Bhagavatam and when we hear Bhagavatam, or when we associate with devotees, or when we go for yatra, when we are with spiritual master, we should grab as much as possible. Because that's why Lord Chaitanya says, Lava matra sadhya suddhi sarva siddhi hoya. So our association when we are with devotees, you should maximum take the benefit. When we go to the temple and we discuss our family problems, you are at a great loss. So that can happen anywhere. When you see a devotee, we have to talk about devotees. That's all. Otherwise, what happens is materially when you go to your office and all, that is there. But when we come to devotee's life, then we have to only discuss about Krishna Katha. So now, just why I gave the example, when Vidura meets Uddhava, he doesn't ask about himself or how are you or nothing like that. He says, what did Krishna Balram was doing? So this is by practice only it can go. Suppose, let's say you're coming to the temple today. So you can ask Harikshetra Prabhu, what service can I do today? Is the more you look at him and tell him, give me something which I can engage. So why constantly seeking some service from the temple or seeking service to the devotees, our consciously, without your knowledge, it transacts. So, but when we come to the temple and we are only coming and praying certain things which we require, it may be required. But coming to the temple is to become a voluntary service there. So that is the only place where nishkarma karma happens, where you lose your identity. When the president says you may be a director in your company, when you come there, you will also take your jadu. You will clean the temple, you will clean the plates. Why does that mood come? Because the vibration is there. That's why Lord Chaitanya very clearly said, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha. So what is sadhu? You have to understand. Sadhu is one who is always thinking of how to do better service. So Sudhir Gopal Prabhu, you are from Jagannath Puri. I have to learn. I know you are trying to find out what I'm going to say. You are such an extraordinary devotee. Even today, I cannot miss your smile. So seeking service and seeking the quality time when you associate devotees, you please grab that, because the minute of that goes, it's gone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, some reflections have come.
Okay.
Like I'll just
Can you
read
read
it out.
one
So
by one?
Viraj Hegde Prabhu and Ashwini Mataji, they relished your point. What you give is what you get, and what you hold is what you lose. So this also shows that whatever we finish with, that people will carry on. So you had a nice finishing, and they took this point nicely. And then Uday Shankar, who he told that very important, just don't time pass in Krishna consciousness, but be part of Krishna consciousness. So that point he's taking. And then Karunapati Keshav Prabhu is telling thank you so much for wonderful class, and on importance of ISKCON institution and togetherness. So he's asking a question: can you give some practical tips from your personal realizations that can inspire us to bring together or being together? So this is a question also has come.
Okay. See, being together is something which, first thing you have to understand whether you will cooperate. Now, you can always think of others who will going to cooperate with you. But first, you should think whether you will cooperate with them. See, this is the mood which I have been taught, where first is, okay, whether, yes, let me do that service. Prabhupada said, live by example. If the temple president does service, then automatically other people also will do. So when these opportunities do come for us, when we grab that, then automatically other people will also follow. So to live together is just like you see, if you see a group of doctors, when you go and sit with them, they will only talk about operations. They go about patients. They don't talk about it. So when you go and meet with a group of people who are lawyers, they will be discussing about High Court or Supreme Court and all that. In the same way, when we are with a group of devotees, when they talk about Krishna, then that's really your benefit. So you should look for that kind of association which will keep you going, which will make you think of Krishna even after you go home. Suppose you go to a good restaurant and eat good food, You will always carry it. Next time you want to go back. In the same way, there are two things which is very important. The temple also, atmosphere of the temple should be so nice that devotee wants to come back. But that's not the only thing. Even the person who comes to the temple, he should also leave a footprint so nice that others will follow. So this is a mutual a loving relationship which will help us to go on. But you should always understand that the conditioned souls has a tendency to always slip off. So it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody over a period of time. But when we are remaining with the shelter of the devotees, so that will get rectified. It will not immediately change. So Prabhupada gives this example of the fan. When we switch off the fan, it takes some more time the fan to come to the stop. In the same way, all of us are conditioned souls. We come to the temple. There will be some disturbances from one devotee to another. But if you carry the disturbance, then you will also be disturbed. But if you understand how he got disturbed and how I can mitigate that disturbance, then that is a positive aspect. I hope this is okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So there is Harish Prabhu. He has mentioned that the session is really very helpful, especially where you mentioned how when we surrender and go to Krishna begging, we can just engage in devotional service and Krishna takes care of the rest. So we'll try to inculcate this mood and confidence and hope one day me and my family completely surrender to Krishna. It's a nice point. And then Avinash Prabhu, he has mentioned, thank you so much for the session. 2 points which I would like to take home is staying together and serving and being loyal to Srila Prabhupada. So these 2 points he has mentioned. And then Nishant Prabhu, he is telling, thank you for the blissful association. As you mentioned, we are all rich as we are fortunate to be in ISKCON. We should do serve to best of our ability. So that is his point. And then Abhishek Prabhu and Priyanka Mataji, so they are just expressing their thanks. And then Amal Prabhu, he's telling most engrossing and erudite session. Okay. Then, so Nishantu has a question. So when the calamity comes to devotee, what are the practical tips to handle?
By seeing our examples of earlier time, Prabhupada also had a lot of difficulties in his life. And how did they react? So in the present moment, you can also find all exalted devotees are also praying. You can know from them how they are reciprocating. So certainly calamities will come, but Krishna will give us the strength to somehow face it. But it does not matter because the material world, it's always ups and downs. It is to be anticipated. Trouble will come today or tomorrow. There is no doubt. Ultimately, death also will come. But you have to be prepared for it. Dhiras tatra mukhyati. So as long as you are dealing from the heart, gradually you can overcome. Let us assume today that I have some heart chest problem. So if that problem is you can't simply sit quiet. So you have to go to the hospital and they will diagnose and they may have to operate you. If you get scared, you'll not. So you have to. So where does the strength come? The strength come by the people. The doctor says, don't worry, nothing will happen. We will take care of you. We will assure you. In the same way, when we pray to the deities, when we pray to our acharyas, when we pray to our gurus, they will give us. In fact, it's a very nice point that whenever I had difficulties in my life, especially in management and building the temple and keeping the devotees together, many times I would, a lot of trouble in my mind. So at that time, next day I would go and sit in front of Prabhupada and say this, I'm finding a difficulty. You believe it or not, I've done 5 years of praying in front of Prabhupada to get a piece of land. So every day I would go. Because Harikshetra knows our Anantram would come and say every month, oh, this is going to be next month you're going to throw out, we are going to increase the rent. It was a big problem for me. So for 5 years, I've been sincerely doing it, many other devotees. But at the end of the 5th year, we got the land, not 1 land, 2 lands. So this is a continuous process. It is a symptom of Kali Yuga. So do not worry. You go ahead, you chant your prayers, but make sure that material problems, that will come and go. But spiritual problem is we're growing bold. So that is more important for us. And Prabhupada was asked about what does he talk about death? He says, first think of stopping birth, then the stopping death. Prabhupada said that. First you should stop the birth, then only think of stopping death. So how clear he was. Very simple. So Prabhupada Leelamrit is there. Sometimes please read it. You will find, I don't think there was anybody more difficult who gone through than Prabhupada himself. And he came out victorious. So when we are with the king who is always victorious, why should we worry? Let's go along with him. Let us become one krimi or a microbe sitting on Prabhupada's dhoti or his disciples' dhoti, and we will go back. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So this just reminds me of one thing. We used to call Narahari Prabhu to our base when we were all working and staying in the base. So that time Prabhuji always used to give Prabhupada Katha. So this time also I asked Prabhuji for Prabhupada Katha. Somehow Prabhuji chose this. Someday else, like again, we will call you for Prabhupada Katha.
Sure.
So then,
Harikshitra, I have one request. The chat, whatever, there are some 33 points I'm seeing here. Can it be copied and send it to my email? No, you can continue. Can it be for my own purification? Just record that and send it as an email. Yeah,
sure,
continue.
Sure,
yeah.
So Krishna Mohan Prabhu has told that it's very inspiring class. I understand that we should carry the Vaikuntha mood and sustain all the time. I pray that I read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita with full absorption daily. Also pray that I get opportunity to serve all devotees throughout my life. So that is his reflection.
Secret of success. Serving Vaishnavas is the greatest service. Yeah.
And Sudha Mataji has put her reflection. I like the point you made about Nishkama Karma, that should be our mood, engage our consciousness during our seva. So without expecting fruits, we should render service. That point she likes. And then, okay, few devotees have told it's very inspiring class. And then one, I'm not able to see the name fully. So one devotee has told how we can do Krishna Janmashtami this year. What is the viewpoint? So we have a discussion on that, and Prabhuji may also share something like what is his viewpoint.
I will get back to you because I'm waiting what Harikshitra does. After he tells me, and I'll come back to you. We have a meeting tomorrow about this. It's not only discussion happening only on the temple level. It is also happening on the divisional council. Many also on the GBC level. How this time the Janmashtami will be done. I'm sure Krishna has some best thing for everyone.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So next, Ekta Mataji, it is important to assess ourselves in Krishna consciousness continuously. That point she likes. And then studying Bhagavatam with full devotion and concentration. That is second point. And third point is selfless devotional service to spiritual master and to Krishna. Some important point that touched my heart. These are some of the important points. Then these teachings of yours will help us in order to progress in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji, for inspiring class. And then another devotee, thanks for such a great message. It feels like we wake up from material world to spiritual world. I like the point. Okay, this is the Kannada, this one he has put. Guruvina, I don't know, like I cannot read.
Okay, Guruvina Gulama Nagava Tanaka, Doraya Danna Mukati. Yeah.
Yes, that one. So the meaning you tell, Prabhu, like
So unless you don't become the bonded labor of your guru, you cannot get mukti. See, earlier time when Gurukul, when Krishna, he also used to go, they would give them any kind of service. They would go. Middle of the night also they would go and bring it. So they had no other go other than fulfilling the instructions of Guru. Thank God Prabhupada didn't give us all that. He gave us gulab jamuns.
So next, Vijaya, Narahari and Sriram. So they have told, blessed to have your discourse. Thank you so much for great discourse. The point I liked is the association of devotees and devotional service and surrender to Lord Krishna. And then Pooja Mataji has written that the point about endeavor was very encouraging. I hope we all keep trying to do so. And then Manjulali Mataji has told that one point I found most important was just to concentrate on Prabhupada, a statement back to Godhead, and surely our consciousness will be shaped accordingly. That is the point she's telling. And Karnapati Keshav Prabhu is telling, wonderful answer from your personal life. Okay, he had asked your personal realization on a topic, so he is responding to it. Praying at your lotus feet and senior devotees to get the mood and serve and develop togetherness. That is this one. And then Mohan Kumar Prabhu, he's telling, very fortunate to connect to ISKCON beautiful devotees. And thanks for Prabhupada Maharaj. And then Chandra Lekha Mataji is telling that thank you for your insight on perseverance. He has answered my prayers in disguise. So, and then the next is some appreciations are there. Then Vijay Narsim Prabhu is mentioning that I have seen your wonderful dedication and commitment for Srila Prabhupada's mission, both taking care of temples and base devotee families, personally visiting and blessing hundreds of congregation across Bangalore for 2 decades. Thank you for giving your association, Prabhuji. So Vijay Narsim Prabhu, maybe you know him, Prabhuji, like his previous name was Pritish, like from Marathalli, like maybe you know him, like he knows you very well. So,
I see.
and then Vikas Prabhu is told, I try to read Bhagavatam every day and be only 1 to 2 slokas, but sometimes I do not understand, but keep on reading. Hope at one time I get knowledge to understand and live in Krishna consciousness all the time with association of devotees. So, and then Sharada Mataji has mentioned she is inspired by the Tattenukampam verse about handling the current situation. And then Ram Prabhu, he's mentioning that thank you for wonderful inspirational class. Realize the importance of time and association of devotees. Death can come at any time. We should utilize our time in serving, remembering and preaching Krishna consciousness, moving along in association of devotees with proper understanding. So, oh, this is Aishwarya Mataji, she has mentioned. And then Nishant Prabhu, so for any, sorry, for a, for any difficulty, we should pray to Srila Prabhupada. So this is a very nice point that he's taking home, that if there is any difficulty, he will pray to Srila Prabhupada. And then session was wonderful during this tough time. These are kind of encouragement and we need. So that's they felt very encouraged by this session. And then Abhishek Prabhu and Priyanka Mataji, they are telling one of the beautiful point you just spoke, that temple must be managed in such a way that devotee wants to come back again and again. And when devotee goes back from temple, he must leave he must leave his footprint in such a way that others get inspired with the service attitude. So that's the
Thank you.
still something coming. So your devotee care is amazing. We are fortunate to have association of senior devotees like yourself. So these are all the points.
In the end, I also request Hari Kshetra to introduce the devotee care system. It's very wonderful. We have, after 5 years, we have introduced that. Nearly 140 devotees are taking benefit of it. And this is what the whole ISKCON wants. So if you can please see how you can bring in this devotee care system into your, I will tell you, it will much more become simpler, because actually my time has reduced. I was spending a lot of time with devotees. Now I have almost 16 caregivers, and care receivers are taking, 16 caregivers are taking care of nearly 160 devotees. So earlier 160 devotees means they used to come to me to some time. But now, over a period of nice training, this has happened, and we have got 16 devotees who have taken up, and they are taking care of others. So in the process, you can talk to some of them like Rangaraj and Sri Gopinath Pran, and they're all our caregivers. I will tell you, your community grows much more stronger. And it's a great boon for you and the devotees of your temple. Think about it.
Sure,
Anywhere, if
Prabhuji.
you require help, we will help you out.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Uh,
Hari Sudhir
and,
Gopal
and also,
Prabhu, thank you very much.
just
Yeah.
just all were not there in the beginning. So Prabhuji has been practicing Krishna consciousness since 36 years, and then he's one of the pioneers in the congregation preaching in Bangalore. So like we are very, very fortunate to have Prabhuji's association, and we will seek your blessings again and again, Prabhuji. Like please shower us your mercy, like often, Prabhuji.
Hari Kshetra, anything for you.
Hari
When Sundar Gopal is there, Sudhir Gopal is there. Hey, how is your friend?
He's doing
I
well.
met him in Pune.
Yes, he's doing well, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. All right. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Just send me that recorded, okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
That
Prabhuji.
chat
Sure.
record.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Look forward to more association.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you.
Devotees are requested to stay on.
So, like now we will have the most important aspect of the Janmashtami, this one roll out, and many of you have sent wonderful ideas and things like that. So, Sudhir Gopalpu, I've sent you through the core team WhatsApp group the link. So, like Prabhuji will share some of the ideas, and he will inspire us for more ideas. And we are somehow or other we should put up a very, very grand Janmashtami festival this year. So how we will do, like we will hear from Sudhir Gopal.
Okay. So first of all, right, I know this is unprecedented without any history, like especially whenever we do something, we always refer to, okay, last year we did like that, or in this situation we do like that. But this is really unprecedented. Never ever had happened that we don't come in association and we don't celebrate festival for months. And I know every devotee is like waiting like a chatak bird. And it's a very difficult, but at the same time, right, as Prabhuji very nicely mentioned, to with respect to my question as well, right, it's important for us to how to be absorbed and take more responsibility. And I was also reading the book of His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj, The Ocean of Mercy. And there Maharaj is writing very beautifully the point that how like whenever the devotees comes forward to take an opportunity to serve the Lord and his devotees, right, and the more we grow and the more we become a servant of the servant, and then we really get that actual position of a true das. So it doesn't really matter wherever we are, in whichever situation or a position we are. But then how do you really take this opportunity, utilizing our constrained resources, constrained atmosphere, right, in the service of the Lord? So I know, right, like once you pray sincerely to the Lord says, he will give the intelligence. And especially in this area, there is especially in this, I mean, Kadugudi, which is considered, and it is also is the IT capital of India and Bangalore and world, where this Whitefield, a lot of devotees are supposed to be tech savvy and in the ahead in the digital world. So I know we have so many devotees who are well accomplished in their corporate life, and also like we have so many devotees who have so much of expertise also and conducting the programs over the last couple of years. And the Janmashtami, I think this will be our 12th year, Prabhuji, for our Janmashtami, or 11th year in our area.
2011 we started.
2011 we started, yeah. So of course earlier we used to do in small pockets, like in apartment complexes, but in a big scale we have started doing in 2011. But still, right, I think we can make a difference, and we can make a big difference, I would say, and how we can conduct Janmashtami. Basically, it's all about how do we put our consciousness, and how do we engage others' consciousness in Krishna. That's all about it. And I was reading one very beautiful quote from Srila Prabhupada. He was saying that how we can use all everything, right? Like including the social media and the mass communication in the service of the Lord. And especially, we hear that purport like Tadvaga Visargo Janataga Viplava. In that purport, and Prabhupada writes very clearly that how there is a systematic propaganda going against, right, against the Lord. And now, right, we have to make an antidote for it. We have to attack it. So like yesterday only we were seeing that, like, how like so many these serials, these, that, social media is full of filthy, and how people are so much
Krishna and his Leela.
yeah, and yeah,
Krishna
so
and his Leela.
exactly, right. So much things are coming up, and people are so depressed, and they are thinking that maybe by taking care of all that, they will be happy. And otherwise, they go to the psychiatrist. And yeah, we just heard that, like, there was a very famed psychiatrist, MD in AIMS, which is considered in the capital of India, and one of the biggest hospital. That's AIMS, and one of the big psychiatrist doctor who had written a lot of articles how to come out of the stress, and he committed suicide yesterday, right? So, and it's not easy for anybody, right? Like even right, forget about the outside people, even we all of us also go through so much tough time. But then once you take shelter of the Lord, by being absorbed in our sadhana and our seva, right? Like, believe me, right, once you take, always, if you ask anybody, right, who have been in this movement, and especially in this Janmashtami seva, once we are attach our consciousness in the seva for this 1 month, that carries us forward for the entire year, right? That energy, right, whatever we have delivered, because there's the seva, that the eagerness, that enthusiasm, the more we put it, the more longer it really carries us forward in with our energy. So it's a wonderful opportunity, I would say, right? Let's not constrain ourselves, right? Utilizing our body, mind, and intelligence. Yes, body we might not be able to stretch too much, going out for pamphlet distribution, or right, or doing kirtan, and going to apartment complexes and apartment complexes. But definitely we can use our intelligence, right, in the service of the Lord, and there could not be better time than this. And definitely, if we just think a little bit, I don't think could be a constraint. I don't think so. And just with limited minds, right? Like we were discussing with Yugal Kishore Prabhu, Harikatra Prabhu, Bandhu Madhav Prabhu, Kartikeya Prabhu, and Achitya, like in a couple of devotees, we were just discussing, and we had already, hundreds of ideas, and we had also floated, and we'll go through that, maybe a few of them. And there are also, so many umpteen ideas, and we are thinking that this Janmashtami, there's no bound, right? We are bound with with the space, or with how many devotees will turn up, or how many, where we have to go and distribute, right? Or number, like here there is no constraint, unbound. Right? So like Lord is unbound, Ajita, right? So similarly, I think here we have much more broader opportunity, right, to conduct like not like 8 events or 10 events, or stalls, or 10 or 12 stalls. Like devotees are already thinking of hundreds of events, right? And it's possible. It's possible, and we have to really use our, once again, we have to pray to the Lord, like as Prabhuji was saying, he prayed for 5 years to get the land. And of course, that's also our objective, that how we have been also praying so many years, right? But how we can pray to the Lord, and let's do our part, and Lord will do his part. So let's continue to pray and engage ourselves in connecting as many souls as possible, and really in the mood of that giving Krishna, giving this love of Godhead to them, so that they really take advantage in this most distressed time. And that is the only purpose, that we want to give Krishna to as many souls as possible. This Krishna Janmashtami means we want to just shower Krishna's blessings with each and everybody, right? With that, if you just meditate on it, that how will we share Krishna with everybody, then Prabhupada will shower his blessings, and all the devotees, so they will inspire each other, and we can really do wonders. Nothing can stop us. So with that, I'll just quickly share what exactly the devotees have come forward. We have I think you can see what we have here, like just to give couple of examples, right? Like Bandhumadhav Prabhu is there.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm there.
If you can share, Prabhuji, like it would be nice. So I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, so this is an opportunity to make everybody somehow chant at least 1 or 8 times of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on the day of Janmashtami. So yeah, this is one of the thought.
So how you want to make them chant, Prabhuji? Like,
Don't know, just a thought came. We have to find out the way now.
okay, Prabhuji, okay. And how about your book distribution, Prabhuji? Like always, we used to have records during our Janmashtami. So how differently or uniquely we want to do it this year?
We have to figure out the way, Prabhu. So still, I'm just thinking. Prabhupada always used to say that what is the use of your 5 minutes of talking? Give them one book.
Exactly.
So it's very important that we somehow reach Prabhupada's books to people. Yeah, we have to. It's a challenging time for the book distribution, especially.
Yes.
We have to.
Yes, Prabhu.
Figure out some way, somehow attract the minds of people. That's the most important thing here.
And especially, Prabhu, just to add it here, I just heard from ISKCON Silicon Valley, right? During this time, their book distribution has increased. Can you believe it? Right, like they have a lot many, like once again, innovative ways. They have found calling party. They have, have like, how do they connect with the new people and really, solicit and them for their help. That okay, we want to help broader people. Please, give us support, and then please take these books as well. Like okay, you might have a lot of time nowadays. Right. Okay. At least why don't you use it, for studying something useful? And I know
I'm thinking like we can have a gift of Bhagavad Gita on Janmashtami. So in that we can put their the name of the person and like who's the donor, so or who's the recipient and their address. Any part of the world, we can connect with the rest of the world ISKCON temples, and we can try to send a copy of Bhagavad Gita to them. Now we can put the language and this one and all, and we can try to make it, or in India at least, we can try to do it in India at least. I think in India, like every local corner we can reach up to.
Yeah. Just to give one more example, Prabhu, in our congregation only, everybody I think know Amrit Madhav Prabhu. He is the personal doctor of His Holiness Jayapatra Swami Maharaj. He stays in Bellandur. And just maybe 2 months back, he called me. He said, "Prabhuji, I need a Bhagavatam set." I said, "Prabhu, like you must be having. Why? No, I want to give a gift of Srimad Bhagavatam to my friend, and he's saying that he have lots of time and he doesn't know what to do." I said, "Okay, just read Bhagavatam." Right. So we can be the best well-wisher of our friends, right, during this most difficult time. Yes, Prabhuji. And Manjulali Mataji, you are there?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. So we always get inspired, and Mataji celebrated her birthday 2 days back. She's always enthusiastic, a lot of energy to share Krishna with everybody in different innovative ways. So Mataji, what's your plan? We see that you have put a lot of thoughts on child competition and so on. So any thoughts you have?
Yes, Prabhu, it's a simple plan. As always, we need more participation from children, because parents want to see their children showcasing some talent, and that's how they are also pulled. So our target group is children. So here also we have around, in a new Gita class that has started for children. There was a session on, elocution competition where her guest, Vagisha Mataji, had mentored that competition yesterday, and around 20 children participated. Next week, there will be around 20 children more. So we have around 40, 50 new families from here, from Prestige, who are willing to, also participate and do some service during Janmashtami. I've just spoken to them off the track. So we can just probably ask them to record their videos and upload on a particular link, which can be decided for the Janmashtami portal. and that's how we can involve them, Prabhu. So that is how we can pull
Yeah,
in new.
yeah. So just to add on what Mataji said, right? Like a lot of devotees have thought of that, how we'll encourage, like I think Abhayanand Prabhu was mentioning yesterday to me, and along with Vaishali Mataji, that how we can have once again, right, different days, we can have a different competitions drawing, painting, and sloka recitation, dance, and everything we'll do. And now it's in unlimited scale. Like we don't have 2 hours or 3 hour slot, we'll have an unlimited time for them, right? Like they can perform it and they can send their record, and then right we can upload it in our Facebook. Once you upload it in the Facebook, right, then we can request them, okay, whoever gets the maximum number of likes or votes, because everybody is now going after that, so we'll use it also for Krishna service, so that they will also get acquainted with our Facebook, whatever the new news and updates coming up. So they will. Yes, Prabhuji. Harikendra Prabhu, you wanted to share more on this?
I was thinking we can keep the this one for every event. We can have, like, for example, fancy dress. We can have one separate event page, and for singing one separate event page. Like that, everything we can. No, we have. Okay, we can move. So we can have separate event pages, and then the like whatever uploads are coming, we will put it in those respective event pages, and we can say that like each event we can put a group of devotees for evaluating, so they will see the content also, if the content is good, and on top of it the likes are also good, and then many other parameters we can actually give to the judges. So judges have they will have to see 24/7. They have to see these videos and they have to judge. So and we can announce the prizes in that way.
Yeah, and also we're thinking that especially for the drawing competition and so on, right? We'll give different slots, and maybe now we have like Zoom of 500 capacity, right? Like even we can bring 500 children also at one go, right? And then we can have some volunteers to monitor it, so they will just put their video on. So nowadays a lot of schools, they are conducting online exams, so why not we can have drawing competition or painting competition as well online, and the different devotees can review it, and then at the end of the 1 hour they can really upload it to into the Facebook, or we can share some drive, right? They can upload it, and then we'll make it available for everybody's use and vote and things like that, so we can make it more engaging and energetic. So it's not that only judges will review, but maybe thousands and maybe hundreds and thousands of people can review it.
Yeah,
and definitely they also look forward to share it with others.
Nice one.
And apart from this one, you're also thinking that, okay, maybe you can have some altar decoration competition, just like dance competition, bhajan competition, so they can sing and they can record it and share it with us, or we can have live as well, right? And so with no time constraint, right? Okay, so yeah, there I think it's Bhadra Mataji. She has also something. Dita Mataji. Anybody would like to share? And it's Nalini Mataji. She is saying that how we can have different languages. We can request the maximum number of languages in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They can write and they can decorate it. That could be one idea. So this one we're just going through it just to trigger some more thoughts, and then definitely we'll look forward to the same devotees and also a couple of leaders, how we can structure them, and we can have a plan over the next 1 week, because we have a limited time now, just less than 1 month now, right? So over the next 1 week we have to finalize, right, what exactly we are going to do, so that we have to plan accordingly. We have to start executing to drive this content, right, maybe for next 1 week, and then right, maybe we can start our all these events not only the day of Janmashtami, maybe a week or two prior as well. We can start doing the ramp up, like all the warm up activities can get started. So we have to really start doing it. Okay, so this is Rujula Rukmani Mataji. She has also a lot of ideas. Anybody would like to add on top of it if you are there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Abhayanand here.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, I request that if we made one basically sticker or something to publish on the WhatsApp group starting the next week, that will be better. Because going into a deep of the program, that what activity, which way we will do, that is the secondary. But first we will have some kind of a thing which can be published in the market. Because that way we can start publicizing and telling that we are coming with the Janmashtami thought and all, so that everybody will be understand that something is going on.
Yes,
See, we will gather this idea for next 2-3 days. After that, we'll solidify, and then we will announce. And later, if we have more ideas, we can create more this one, based on the availability. So by next weekend, I think we will have something to go forward, go out.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and also our most importantly, right, our right, it's important is that how everybody should participate. Everybody should come up with some ideas how we can do something. Right, once again, there's no limitations to it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Nishant here, if I can speak.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, so one thing was that these days, especially we are again in the, like Narahari Prabhu was saying that, and you were saying that there's a lot of IT folks around. So if there is a provision of creating wallpapers, screensavers, different kind of, I call it IT kits for laptop, so that the IT engineers can save it. It will be a very important reminder with programs and all. So that, because what will happen is that the pamphlets will be shared through e-pamphlets will be shared, but it will be forgotten in the barrage of Facebook messages and emails. So somebody, I mean, we can encourage them to have screensavers and wallpapers, and that would also help to remind them, Prabhu.
Wonderful idea. So we have already
Prabhu,
started.
please post your ideas also in the form, because here it generates nice inspiration. So that's why we are discussing. But for practical purposes, we need it to be put in the form too, so that we can go back and solidify the idea also.
Yeah.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yes, just to add you, Prabhuji, yesterday we launched our media team with the first video of Karthik Prabhu. How was it? Hari bol! So our teams have already started working on it. Okay. Anybody else? Manomita Mataji or Aishwarya Mataji, anybody else would like to share some of your thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Monumita here. I had quite a few ideas which were similar to the ones being discussed. Two other things which I thought about was, can we help people in this time to, like, even before Janmashtami, maybe do a series of workshops for them to even understand how to do deity worship or how to celebrate the festival. In the period of lockdown, typically a lot of youngsters, and I'm thinking of people, they would be away from parents, they won't be going back home, neither their parents are visiting them. So maybe if we do a series of workshops, some people like those could also benefit and understand how to even celebrate Janmashtami, even if they're staying alone or just with friends. So that was one idea, Prabhuji. The other one I was thinking about is that prasadam is a very important part of any festival. And can we create a large scale prasadam distribution program? Maybe we create like a prasadam box distribution. We could tie up with like a Swiggy or a Zomato, and then, people can just order these prasadam boxes. A group of devotees can sponsor the prasadam. So the prasadam itself is free, and like people just pay for like the delivery charges or something like that. Maybe we tie up with Dunzo. That was another thought, like how can we get more and more people to actually taste prasadam? This idea came to me when one of my friends who's in Chicago was talking about like how lonely he is in lockdown. And I told him, I just looked up if there is a Chicago chapter of ISKCON, and I found a prasadam distribution program that they have, where they tie up with Uber Eats and DoorDash and get prasadam across to, people across the city. So maybe that's something which we could consider for Janmashtami.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Mataji. We have already started thinking about it. Like, definitely, we would really like to share at least the local devotees, or especially Bangalore devotees, will ensure or will try our best so that how we can work with these logistics courier service providers or somehow or other to deliver prasadam?
Yeah, we are just thinking in case if we have a difficulty, we are all now spread out, like we don't have manpower in one place to cook probably. So we are thinking like dry prasadam, like dry fruits and things like that. We can make it into small pockets, and we can kind of distribute that. And no, yeah, prasadam distribution really will touch people a lot. It's
Yeah.
nice
Yes,
thing.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Haribo. Okay, I see Aishwarya Mataji has a lot of thoughts. She's here. Ranu Prabhu. Okay, Yugal Kishore Prabhu, you would like to share some of your thoughts?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so one point is that before I share my thought ideas, one thought was that just to add on what you had said earlier, when we do the cultural programs, especially I'm focusing that one topic because that can generate a lot many ideas or thoughts. Especially Hema Mataji and Sirisha Haripriya Mataji, they used to have a lot of constraint. They have only 2 hours there, and there are many participants who want to perform. But today, with this virtual or online Janmashtami, there is no limit. Virtually, they can have the performance morning, I don't know, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock to night, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So there is unlimited opportunities that we can have one channel continuously dedicated for the cultural program, where the performers can actually come up with their own performance. They record it, send to our team, and team record it and flow it in a channel in a selected time, and that time will be given to that performer, and he will actually publish that, okay, please see that my live performance on YouTube of ISKCON Whitefield. So that way, the performer will get highlighted, our YouTube channel will also get highlighted, and moreover, our Janmashtami get highlighted. So in addition to that, what we had here is that online busy chapter wise quiz. So last week, we had online quiz for our Gita course program. It is using the Kahoot app, and it is objective. It was such a wonderful, and everybody had a fantastic experience. So and a couple of experiences what were shared later, that one Prabhu shared, Prabhu, because of this online quiz, I could read Prabhupada's whole purport for chapter 1 for 3 days continuously. Now you ask me any question about chapter 1, I can answer that.
Rivo.
Of the online quiz. So what we are planning is here, the thought not the plan, but the thought here is that we'll have a channel where the quiz will be there from morning to evening, chapter wise. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and all the quiz will be open for all the participants one by one, 1 hour dedicated for one chapter. And the first 2-3 winners would be given the prize later on. So that is the first thought is that. The second thought is that there will be another channel which will be again continuously going on, where the Bhagavad Gita important shlokas would be recited continuously throughout the day, because it is Janmashtami, and would like to people connect to Krishna through Bhagavad Gita, where all the 108 important shlokas would be recited every hour by hour.
Yeah, and also they can come and they can also recite.
Yes, right. Together we'll recite that.
Yes.
And next is the storytelling, which we discussed yesterday, where all our devotee kids, they will make the stories like Sudhir Gopal Prabhu used to make all the kids. Remember, if our VRS near the staircase, where all the kids used to stand and tell about that. So now, instead of standing and doing that, they can make at their convenient time, and using all the technology, make the story from Krishna book. Some chapters will be given, and those chapters will be continuously telecasted live on our channel. So these are the 3 thoughts that we have. Many other thoughts that can actually come up, but in a quick one, these 3 thoughts were presented here.
Yeah, so in this regard, I was just like, no, in Kadugodi, there are some devotees who are doing, I think Viraj Prabhu's children, they are doing regularly about different personalities, and the children are making PPT and they're presenting. So we can kind of record them, and we can slot them at different times, that these things will come live like that. So all different children's, like actually the whole of congregation, like all children, they can do storytelling, and then we can record it, and then we can put them on different times. That will be very nice.
So here we need a volunteer who can actually talk to all the devotee kids, collect them, give them, assign them chapter. So we'll focus on Krishna book, stories from Krishna book. We have 89 chapters, and we have enough resources available. So devotees can make using technology, PPT, videos, some kind of board, and different kinds of things. So however they would like to make interesting and appealing, so they can make it and present it, and that will be recorded live. I mean, they will record it and will be telecasted live.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I think we can kind of have some concluding words, and then we can have Narsimha Arti, and we will, please encourage everybody to contribute more and more ideas.
Very well, very well. Yes. Yes, so this is the idea generation phase, no constraints, nothing. That's what we do in the corporate world also. First, the idea generation, right? So whatever, don't limit yourself to anything. So please share whatever ideas you have in whichever way we can do it. And then like I would request also some devotees to come forward. I know we have already the proven leaders in the kids competition or in the cultural program and so on. But apart from that, also, if you'd like to also help in solidifying those ideas and taking to the next stage as well, we really look forward to your eagerness and your participation and your leadership as well to take it forward. So please come forward as how we can take it to the next stage as well. So with that, I think we can just pause it, our discussion here, and we are already have gone beyond. And I would hand it over to Harikhetra Prabhu.
You may stop the share, Prabhu.
Okay, done.
Okay, so let's all pray to our dear deities, Shri Shri Gandharva Giridhari, Shriman Mahaprabhu, Shri Lakshmana Shingadev, and now we have Nitai Gaur Sundar, our Kartikeya Prabhu's deities also in our altar, and then Panchatattva and all the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, that they bless us and give us direction in how we want to celebrate their birthday, like Krishna's birthday in a nice way. So let's all pray to the Lord that we get some innovative ideas, and also that many people of this area will get benefited because of this endeavor. So our whole so it is our dear Lord's appearance day, so we want to celebrate, and the best offering that we can give is that if all these people, many people can get the mercy of the Lord on that particular day. So that's our prayer. So with this prayer, let us chant the Narsimha prayers, and then we will depart for today. So I request one of the devotees to start the Narsimha prayer.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Narasimha Hrudaye Narasimha Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadde Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadde Hare Naka Atudashara Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, thank you all very much for your participation. So here we will call it off, and we request you all to post more and more ideas about how we can celebrate this nice Janmashtami, right? So we will call it off. Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.